So before we begin with the video, I'd like to apologize for not being as active on the channel. I know it's been like a week since I had last uploaded, and I'm really sorry about that. Long story short, I've been busy with life as well as managing daily content on my main channel, Crasher Plays and Reacts. I also am kind of addicted to the grind, that is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Speaking of grinding and the Gen 9 games, that's the subject here of this video, and to be more specific, we will be discussing Tera Raids. For those who don't know about Tera Raids, they are a feature in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet where you battle a Tera Raid Pokemon and have 4 players help do the job in a real-time sort of time limit. Should you win, you get rewards. The higher the stars for the raids, the better rewards you have dropped. One of those rewards are Tera Shards. As an example, taken from Cerebi.net, in a 5-star raid, you get 4 to 6 Tera Shards per raid that correspond with the Tera type of that said raid Pokemon. So say if you battle a Pokemon with the Steel Tera type, you would get 4 to 6 Steel Tera Shards. The reason for these shards being a thing is that if you get 50 of them, you can actually change the Tera type of the Pokemon of choice. In a 6-star raid, which are once-a-day occurrences, you can get 6 to 7 shards. So why are we talking about this? Well, let's take a look at the Reddit post that I was sent. To make a long story short, the number of shards per raid battle droppage are rather small, and that can be an issue, and to be completely frank with you, I can not only understand this, but I actually kind of agree with this. If you want to grind for 50 Tera Shards of a certain type, you have to complete a fair amount of raid battles to farm for that specific type. Imagine how long that would take to complete. Imagine all of the Tera raids you would have to do just to have one Tera type change for that specific Pokemon for the specific type you want. This doesn't even begin to account for the fact that the games already have performance issues with lagging and freezing and glitches and other type of shenanigans, and it doesn't exactly help when it carries over into Tera raids too. I am aware that there are sandwiches that you can make from picnics that give you benefits when it comes to raids, but it still presents the issue of tedious grinding just to have 50 shards for one type, let alone 50 shards for 18 types total. Going back to the Reddit post here, we have a comment that reads, and I quote, "Up to 6 shards, so you still have to do around 10 raids just for one Tera type. There are 18 total types, so you would have to do around 180 or so level 5 raids to be able to change to any Tera type once. If every raid takes a minimum 10 minutes to get into and finish, this would lead to spending 1,800 minutes or 30 hours just doing raids. Absolutely ridiculous and completely ruins the chance of most normal players experimenting with Tera types. I like the idea of this new gimmick, but the implementation is awful." That is a pretty big figure to take into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do keep in mind, these raids can be done in less time if you and the players coordinate with each other, but I digress. The tediousness of farming for shards not only leads to the problem of spending loads of time just to get enough to change Tera types once, but this also could potentially open another avenue for hacking to still have a place in the Pokemon community, as experimenting with your Pokemon by changing their Tera types just for it to not work out would be a costly mistake. Now, let me be clear about this. I don't give a damn if you choose to hack. That's your prerogative, and that's all well and good, but don't bring your hacked stuff to official tournaments like VGC. I used to hack years ago, but it's honestly more satisfying to grind and get my stuff the natural way. Anyways, the reason this presents a problem with hacking is that just as Game Freak narrows the gap between hacking your Pokemon and getting them naturally, they implement another possible reason for those to hack and mod their Pokemon. It's so easy to get battle-ready Pokemon in Gen 9, but with the importance of Tera types and making them as optimized as possible in the competitive scene, that narrowed gap just got widened once again. There are even services that sell you the ability to have your Pokemon Tera types changed. Now, I'm not going to name drop anything because this is not a call out to them, so don't go out of your way to harass anyone that happens to provide these services. This here is to more or less bring awareness to Game Freak that the implementation of grinding for Tera shards is pretty bad, and we need to have easier ways to increase Tera shard drops in raid battles at the very least. Game Freak has a thing where they introduce great features and mechanics, but do the equivalent of 1 step forward and 2 steps back in terms of execution, as well as removing features needlessly, and a big example of that would be the lack of Battle Tower or Battle Frontier in post-game for Scarlet and Violet. But that can be a conversation for a different time. I just hope that if the DLC happens for the games, we get some massive upgrades and popular features returning to the games. Anyways, I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out here on what we discussed. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions about what we discussed? I'd love to hear from you guys. So with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well in viewing this video. Have yourself a damn good one, you beautiful people, and I'll see you next time.